Intel just dropped its blueprint for the future of AI PCs with the new Core Ultra 200V series, and a new technical report gives us our first real peek under the hood. So today, we're going to break down exactly what Intel is building and why it might finally solve the biggest problem with laptops today. Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's set the scene here. For years, as a laptop user, you've been stuck in this constant trade-off, right? You could have amazing performance or you could have great battery life, but getting both, that was tough. And now you throw in this new demand for powerful on-device AI, and the whole problem gets even trickier.
I mean, it really all boils down to this question, doesn't it? Can one single device finally deliver on the three things we all really seem to want? That feeling of instant responsiveness when you open an app, a battery that just refuses to die, and, the intelligence to help you with complex tasks right there on the device itself?
And there you have it, the modern user's trifecta. First up, a battery that can genuinely get you through a full day of real work, and maybe even the flight home afterwards. Second, that snappy, instant feel where the machine just never keeps you waiting. And third, this is the big one, the new frontier, powerful, on-device AI that doesn't need to phone home to the cloud. This is the puzzle that companies like Intel are so desperately trying to crack.
All right, just a quick note for full transparency. All the data and the findings we're looking at today, they come directly from a super detailed performance report by the firm Signal 65, which we should note was commissioned by Intel. So we're explaining their findings and their analysis.
So what is Intel's answer to that whole user wish list? Well, it's a new line of processors. They're calling it the Core Ultra 200V series, and it's built on an architecture with the codename Lunar Lake.
And listen, according to the report, this is not just some minor update. No way! The Core Ultra 200V series represents a huge fundamental shift in how Intel designs its processors for these thin and light laptops. They're basically changing the entire game plan. So this new philosophy, it breaks down into four main priorities. Instead of just, chasing the highest clock speeds or cramming in more cores, Intel's doing something different. They're focusing on making each individual core incredibly efficient. They're boosting the built-in graphics, mastering power consumption, and of course, accelerating AI. So here's the key takeaway. Efficiency is the new king.
All right, let's kick things off with the one thing everybody cares about, battery life. Can you finally leave that charger at home? Let's dig into what the report's data has to say.
So, the big headline from the Signal 65 analysis is a real doozy. In their tests, which are designed to mimic real-world office productivity, the new Intel platform just lasted longer than its direct competitor, consistently.
So how much longer are we talking? Well, the report clocked up to a 26% advantage in battery life. I mean, that is not a small number. That could literally be hours of extra work time when you're on the go.
And this chart just spells it out perfectly. It's pulled right from the report. See that dark blue bar? That's the Intel system. It's hitting 1.26 times the battery life of the competing AMD system in an office productivity test. And this wasn't some fluke. The report is clear they saw this same kind of advantage across a bunch of different laptops from different companies.
Okay, so how on earth did they pull this off? Well, it all comes down to a really fundamental choice in design. It's kind of like a tale of two very different philosophies when you're trying to balance performance and power.
Now, what's really fascinating here is how this all comes down to two different paths you can take. The report explains that Intel has gone all in on what's called single-threaded efficiency. Think of that as the power that makes your day-to-day stuff feel fast, like opening an app or just browsing the web. The competition, on the other hand, has often gone for multi-threaded power. And look, that stuff is amazing for heavy-duty pro work, like rendering a video. But it can be a real battery hog during normal everyday use.
And you can see that whole philosophy playing out right here in these benchmark charts from the report. Just look at the ST columns that's single-threaded on the left side of each chart. In those tests, the Intel systems are consistently out in front. But then you look over at the MT, or multi-threaded results, and yeah, the competition is much closer. But as the report points out, that raw power can really cost you when it comes to battery.
And this is why that focus is such a big deal. The Signal 65 report just nails it with this quote. Better single-threaded performance isn't just some number on a chart. It's that snappy, responsive feeling you get when you're just trying to get your work done.
Okay, on to the third piece of the puzzle, AI. This is the new battleground, folks, and to really get who's winning, you gotta know one key term. And that term is TOPS. It stands for trillions of operations per second. The easiest way to think about it is like the horsepower of a chip's AI engine.
The more TOPS you have, the faster it can do those complex AI tasks like language translation or generating an image right on your device.
So what's Intel's big number? Get this. According to the report, the entire Core Ultra 200V platform delivers a combined 120 TOPS of AI performance. And that's pulling power from everywhere: the main processor, the graphics, and this special AI chip they call an NPU.
Now, to put that 120 TOPS number into some perspective, the report points out that it crushes the 40 TOPS that Microsoft requires for a machine to even get the Copilot Plus PC badge. So what does that mean? It means this thing isn't just ready for today's AI, it's got a ton of headroom for whatever's coming next.
Okay, so we've hit battery life, we've talked performance philosophy, we've covered AI horsepower. Let's tie it all together. What does all this techie stuff actually mean for you? You know, the person who's going to be using the laptop.
All right, so based on everything in the Signal 65 report, here are your big takeaways. Number 1, you're going to spend a lot more time away from the wall outlet. Number 2, the apps you use all the time should feel faster, snappier, more responsive. And number 3, your laptop is certified and ready for that next wave of AI tools that are going to be built right into your operating system. It's the whole package, designed to solve that big dilemma we talked about at the very beginning.
And that kind of leaves us with one last big thought. Intel's whole strategy here is a bet, right? A bet that for most of us, smart, efficient performance is way more valuable now than just raw multi-core power. As AI gets baked into everything we do, could this be the end of the spec war as we've known it? Is the future of laptops less about just raw speed and more about intelligence efficiency? It's a really fascinating question to think about. Thanks so much for tuning in.